How's it going, everyone? We are here for some week-based decisions on DFS or something, some combination of those words. I haven't been able to find it yet in an intro this year, but how's it going, Renee?
Pretty good, Russ. How about you?
Good. I guess we'll just jump right into it. The Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, against this Dolphins team, he was your starting point. What do you think of this?
Yeah, he's my first starting point. I love this game. I think a lot of people are obviously keyed in on the high team total for the Steelers. They're coming off two really dominant wins at home. Now they go south to face Miami, which has been pretty much a disaster. Their offense can't stay on the field. They're really not stopping anyone. So I think the Steelers have another good game here. Antonio Brown's price is through the roof on both sites, $10K on DraftKings. And it's hard to do if you look at the difference between what he's been able to do in Pittsburgh and on the road. He's only scored 11 touchdowns in 45 road games in his career, which is basically, it's like a 3-to-1 ratio, his scoring at home versus on the road. Which gives me a little bit of pause. I mean, it's a great matchup with Miami. He could certainly have another 2 to 3 touchdown game, but I'm a lot more comfortable using Le'Veon Bell here. We saw that he's been a force without scoring in the 2 games that he's played. He's been a force in all 4 quarters. He looks really healthy. He looks really good. I would, bet almost anything I own on him scoring a touchdown this week. But his involvement in the passing game, as well as being the primary rusher, is just huge. So he's my cornerstone from the Steelers. I prefer him over Ben Roethlisberger or Antonio Brown.
Le'Veon Bell is an incredible human being, and just watching him the last 2 weeks, I have a great appreciation. We only get to see running backs for a few years, and he is a magician. So definitely agree there. Yeah, Brown. I'm trying to think of ways that Pittsburgh doesn't go off this week. It's tough, but at 10K, on DK, Brown needs 35 points basically to, exceed value. So yeah, that's gonna be a tough one for him. Next starting point you had is actually a really fun one. I'd been thinking about trying to be sneaky, but I don't know how sneaky it's going to be. Russell Wilson, 6,900 on DK. I like this play a lot.
Thank you. I like using really talented players coming off their bye week because they're off the radar, and it's a great matchup for Russell Wilson and Jimmy Graham. Incidentally, Atlanta's number 2 in terms of fantasy points allowed to both quarterbacks and tight ends, and Jimmy Graham is one of these tight ends that can get you the 100-yard bonus. That's kind of what he's done every year except last year, or if he's been injured. So I love this combination. A quick look at the Thursday ownership from Fantasy Aces. Wilson's not high. He's not highly owned. Breeze, another guy coming off a bye at home in a good passing situation, is much higher owned than Wilson. So at similar price point, I think Wilson makes for a really nice semi-contrarian starting point.
Yeah, again, I think with Wilson, you're kind of looking at a Jimmy Graham who's back, who's an all-pro player. Obviously had a horrific injury, but apparently with his 2 back-to-back 100-yard games, he's fine. So whatever. I wouldn't think he'd be
Roll
fine,
with
but he's fine.
It should be good.
Yeah. So I think that's a great sneaky play, especially when stacking with Graham. And I guess we can, jump into the last one here. A name we don't see in fantasy circles very often, Case Keenum. What do you have for me, Renee?
Well, what I wrote is that Case Keenum, maybe not here but elsewhere, is the winner of the Detroit Lions sweepstakes this week. So Detroit has just been an absolute gift to opposing quarterbacks all season, allowing a ton of passing yards and touchdowns. And Case Keenum is that guy. He's coming off a really bad, the guy that faces that. He's coming off a really bad week at home against Buffalo. Buffalo's defense came out really strong. They're another, I like that. We talked about them last week. I like them again this week. And I know a lot of people are going to be using the Detroit Lions defense against Case Keenum, and I'm not arguing that he's going to have a mistake-free game, but I think we have seen the Rams offense make some strides, be able to make some plays. He's thrown some touchdown passes, mainly Kenny Britt. If you really feel like you want to pair somebody with him, would be the top choice there. These guys are all really affordable on FanDuel, and I think if you build around Case Keenum in a smart way, if you use the salary cap that you're saving wisely, I think he's going to turn in a performance that will be solid enough to make those higher upside, safer, more expensive running backs and wide receivers push you into the money.
I'm certainly biased at this stage with Keenum because I watched that first game, and when you look at Kenny Britt and Tavon Austin, they're actually on pace for pretty decent years, especially Kenny Britt. So obviously Keenum's not totally bad. So I'm with you on that.
Pretty bad, but
well,
but so is the Detroit secondary.
From a fantasy sense, I should have said. He's bad. He's very bad.
Throwing 30 times a game, and
Kenny Britt's on pace for 1,100 yards, so I don't know how that's happening, but it is. Is there anything else you want to throw out there before we head out for the week?
I'm tight on time this morning, so the only other thing, the situation I'm looking to get a piece of course, is the Tennessee Titans. So Delaney Walker, he's going to be highly owned, but I'm fine with it. I think as a general principle this week, I'm okay with paying up for tight end. I think Delaney Walker, Jimmy Graham, Greg Olson, and even Rob Gronkowski on FanDuel are all very much in the mix for me. I mean, Rob Gronkowski is maybe a player that you want to squeeze in if you go with someone like Case Keenum at quarterback. Spend up positions where you can. Gronkowski, this could be the Gronkowski 3-touchdown week.
It certainly could. And yeah, Graham and Delaney are my cash game guys for sure this week. As always, if you want to check out the full article, fantasycafe.com. As always, you can read all of our stuff there, including this article. If you like what we're doing on the YouTube channel, give us a like and subscribe. And as always, keep checking us out. So I guess we will see you guys in week 7. And thanks for tuning in.
Have a great week.